Welcome to Noise from the Cranium. My name is Doug, and in this episode we're going to take a look at one of rock music's most iconic songs. A 50-year-old treasure that kick-started the Summer of Love in 1967. After delving deep into the history of this song, I learned that it had roots that are almost 300 years old and got its start from a cigar ad on British TV. I did not expect that. Hamlet Cigars aired this ad on British TV in 1966. The visual is a small child hammering away on a piano in a rehearsal room. When the instructor lights up a cigar, the music evolves into a sweet classical melody, which is actually Johann Sebastian Bach's air on the G string, originally written by Bach in 1731.
Happiness is a cigar called Hamlet, the mild cigar from Benson and Hedges.
The idea seems to be that you can make anything better with the cigar. Rupert, a keyboard player and singer with a love for R&B and Bach, was watching TV when that ad came on. The melody got stuck in his head. He became a little obsessed with it. Well, not like Salvador Dali when he became obsessed with the painting of the Angelus, but it was an earworm that got stuck in his head just the same. Notice the descending bass line, chord structure, and melody. As Brooker worked on trying to copy the song on the piano, he ended up with his own take on it. When he transferred the melody to the organ, a little bit of magic happened. At the time the song was developing in his head and on the piano, he had just begun a songwriting partnership with lyricist Keith Reid. The first of Reid's lyrics that Brooker tried with his new piano piece inspired by the cigar ad was entitled A Whiter Shade of Pale, a surrealistic slice of psychedelia. Digging into his R&B roots, and more than a little influenced by Percy Sledge, he sang the words to his piano part.
We skip the light fandango, turn cartwheels across the floor. I was feeling kinda seasick. The crowd called out for more.
Whether he did it on purpose or was just channeling his inner Percy Sledge, he came up with a feel that was not unlike Sledge's soul classic called When a Man Loves a Woman. Note the descending bass line leading into the lyric. Brooker was clearly inspired by this, although Brooker's vocal is a little toned down compared to Percy, who just wails on it. At the same time that this was happening, Brooker placed an ad in British music magazine Melody Maker, trying to recruit like-minded musicians to play these songs that he and Reid were working on. One of the musicians answering the ad was organist Matthew Fisher, who ended up joining the new band soon to be christened Procol Harum. Fisher, also a Bach enthusiast, was asked to beef up the opening organ phrase of the song in progress. Fisher dug down into his Bach repertoire and brought out a piece entitled Sleepers Awake that would suit the mood of this soon-to-be Summer of Love masterpiece. Fisher took this motif and adapted it to develop the now famous organ solo that frames the song. Once completed, the song became an instant smash. The influence that A Whiter Shade of Pale had on popular music is undeniable. There have been over 1,000 recorded cover versions of the song, while the Procol Harum version itself has been included in numerous film and TV soundtracks. Many bands have tried to capitalize on the signature sound of the organ to springboard their songs to success. Copycats, both accidental and on purpose, would abound. One of the first was Rupert's People, who released Reflections of Charles Brown in the fall of 1967, mere months after A Whiter Shade of Pale. Unlike A Whiter Shade of Pale, this song had limited chart success, although it did reach number 7 in Vancouver on the CKLG Boss 30.
Charlie Brown works hard all day, doesn't get home till the sky's gray. Sees his children tucked in bed. He's a man that gets them fed. Sits down by the fire.
Coincidentally, rather than simply being A Whiter Shade of Pale ripoff, this song also resulted from being put to the tune of Air on the G string. It would appear that Gary Brooker wasn't the only musician inspired by that cigar ad. Coliseum, a British rock band with heavy jazz and blues influences, released their debut album, Those Who Are About to Die Salute You, in 1969. The album included a song credited to Coliseum members Dave Greenslade, Dick Hextall-Smith, John Heisman, and Tony Reeves, called Beware the Ides of March. According to drummer and bandleader Heisman, the song was a maniac version of a Bach chord sequence. Although it clearly borrows the Bach theme, funny enough, it could easily pass for an instrumental version of A Whiter Shade of Pale. Canadian band Rupert had a song called Oh Pretty Lady, released on their Knock 'em Dead Kid album in 1977. The song, credited to Brian Smith and Ray McGuire, the guitarist and singer of the band, was a regional hit in Canada, making it to number 42 on the Canadian charts, but not doing much elsewhere. Aside from it being a pleasant, soft ballad, it clearly nicked the spirit of the organ intro from A Whiter Shade of Pale. I always wondered why Brooker and Reed never bothered suing any of these other bands for plagiarism. After taking a closer look at the origins of the song, it would seem that if key elements of the song were lifted from Bach and Percy Sledge, it would be pretty difficult for Brooker and Reed to sue anyone else for doing the same. Speaking of lawsuits, here is what may be the final twist to the story. Although the song was originally credited to Brooker and Reed as co-writers, in 2009 organist Matthew Fisher won a lawsuit giving him a co-writing credit for the music. The litigation began in 2005 when Fisher filed a lawsuit against Gary Brooker and his publisher, claiming that he co-wrote the music for the song. The legal seesaw went on until 2009, and after a number of appeals, Fisher finally won the rights to future royalties amounting to 40% of the composer's share of the music. The House of Lords stated that Fisher's subsequent contribution was significant, and especially the introductory 8 bars, an important factor in the work's success. It's ironic that these two duked it out in court for the royalty rights that you might say actually belonged to Bach. Perhaps, in the end, a twisted form of justice was served, as Brooker and Procol Harum spent the rest of their careers trying to top their first big hit single, but never actually finding that level of success again. This has been Noise from the Cranium. Thanks for listening, and I'll catch you next time.
The waiter brought a tray, and so it was that later, as the miller told his tale, that her face at first just go sleep.